Hey, it's Sri here. In today's video, I'm going to talk you through 3 important mindset mistakes that I see so many women make when it comes to wanting to work on their marriage that's on the verge of a divorce, and making sure that you avoid these at all costs. Now, before we dive in, I know you're going to be hurting in your marriage right now, and I know it must be extreme pain that you may not have even experienced before. And I truly want to help you. And look, I want you to go through and watch this entire video and make sure you stick around to the end, because I'm going to give you some important details about how you can make sure that you get the help and the support that you need in order to be able to progress and save your marriage and be able to create the biggest shifts in your life, and how I can help you with that. But at the same time, because of that level of intensity of your pain that you must be experiencing right now, I really want to help you. So I'd love to hop on a call with you just to see if there's any way that I can support you or serve you on your journey right now. All you need to do is just in the description section below, there is a link to click on which says book a call with me. All you need to do is just click on that link below, choose a time that works for you. There's a short little application form that I need you to fill out. And once that's done, then I will contact you at the scheduled time, just to understand where you are now, where you want to get to, and how we can bridge that gap and how I can possibly help you on this path. It'll be an amazing call. You'll absolutely love it. And if there's a way that I can help you, wonderful. If not, then that's totally okay. And I'll make sure I give you a couple of tips in order to be able to move forward as well. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below so that every Mondays and Wednesdays you receive access to my latest videos teaching you specifically about how you can save your marriage, how you can learn a little bit more about male psychology, and how you can really become the best version of yourself and really awaken that feminine spirit inside of you, so you find true joy, true happiness, and not just create a marriage that's happy in the short term, but one that's going to really stand the test of time as well. Now, I've been doing this work for about 9 years now, and after speaking to a good 5,000-6,000 people individually over that time, I've seen a lot of patterns, and I've seen a lot of challenges that female clients and so on make or have as they're going through these challenges in their marriage. And sometimes people have the right attitude and they come in there and they do the work and they show up and take the necessary steps. And then other times you see individuals who they've got a beautiful heart, they want to move forward, they want to progress, but something's just holding them back. And every single person on this planet has a very different mindset. And I think it's so important to remember that mindset and your emotional fitness is such a crucial component in order to be able to create the changes that you want in your marriage. Because when you're in a difficult time in your marriage, it is the most painful experience that you can have. It just sucks the life out of you. You're sitting there every day and you're hurting and you're crying, and you're living in sadness so much of the time. There's obviously impacts on the family and so on, and it's just intense. But every single person shows up to it in a very different way. And looking at all the patterns that I've seen over the years, and looking at people who have been able to create extraordinary marriages, even when it's been on the brink of a divorce, even when there's been affairs and so on, and then seeing other people who struggle and battle their way through, I'm looking for patterns, and I'm really fascinated by those patterns and what is it that allows those people to create those shifts versus the other people. And yes, there are some challenges sometimes with men. I'm not sitting here and pretending like, if something doesn't work out, that it's only the woman's fault. Absolutely not. There are some exceptions. There are some circumstances where you're dealing with narcissists and sociopaths and so on. But on the assumption that your man is a good man, we really want to make sure that we understand what is it that's actually preventing you from creating those shifts. What are those fundamental mindset shifts that you're avoiding at this moment in time, or that you're not taking ownership of in order to create the changes that you want to? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk you through the 3 biggest mistakes that I see women making when they're going through challenges of wanting to work on their marriage. And to be perfectly honest, this really applies to everyone. I'm only saying women because I predominantly work with women. But I think it's really important to remember that these problems I'm identifying and talking about right now are really applicable right across the board. Now, the first mindset mistake that I see is that individuals often think that things will just magically change. Now, you would be amazed at how many people think that if they just continue on doing what they're doing, that things will hopefully just get better. And even though there's a part of them that believes that or knows the truth here, they continue acting in a way that is in alignment with the idea that they think that things will magically just change. So as human beings, when we are struggling with something, we become confused in our mind. There's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of uncertainty. As I've talked about in previous videos, we get into that survival mode. And when we're in that survival mode, we're not sure what to do. And it takes us to a place of paralysis by analysis. We find ourselves thinking about things over and over, we're not sure what to do. And so what we end up doing is nothing. Because on some level, we do believe that if we just keep going with where we're going, and we keep doing what we're doing, then things will just change. Now, what did Einstein say was the definition of insanity? Continuing to do the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Things don't happen like that. You have to remember that for a marriage to get to where it is right now, there have been a whole sequence of events or behaviors or actions over the years that have got the marriage to this point now. Now, whether that's a decision to marry that particular person, or whether that's decisions to act in a particular way, or whether that's decisions to tolerate certain behaviors, whatever it is, it's taken us to a point, which is this point right now, where the marriage is on the verge of a divorce. And we need to take some ownership for that. And that doesn't mean that you blame yourself. It just means you take yourself or get yourself to a place where you take responsibility and ownership for whatever part that you've played in it. That doesn't mean you take complete ownership for everything, but it just means you take ownership for whatever parts that you feel like you've contributed towards that. And by doing that, then we start to get a clearer mindset. We start to say, look, I've contributed these things. I need to work on those things. I need to address them. But also it's recognizing that you don't know it all. And that might sound really strange because it might seem like, look, of course, none of us know it all, including me. And I think it's really important to understand that if we don't know it all, then we have to make sure that we're actually seeking the answers, that we're looking for the answers in the best possible way. And why that's important is that by taking that mindset, by recognizing that we don't know it all, we're going to be seeking the answers and we're going to be open to trying new things, to not continue on the patterns that we've been engaging in for the last X number of years. We're going to recognize, look, I need to do something different here. Because if I keep doing the same thing over and over, this is where it's got to. So I need to make those shifts and I need to start creating friction. We need to start doing things that are going to break patterns of behavior, that are going to create proper shifts, that are going to shock the system on some level, both within ourselves and within the marriage as well. Because as I said, if we continue doing the same thing, we're going to keep getting the same results. By trying something different, you're going to allow it to grow. You're going to allow things to develop. You're going to allow things to really improve and to give yourself the best chance of making progress. Now, the second mindset mistake that I see so many people make is fearing that their own growth will actually result in the other person leaving. Now, here's the interesting point. When we actually want to make some changes in our lives, when we want to grow, there's always that little voice in our head going, I don't know if you can do this. I don't know if you can actually get the results that you want. And equally, there is the other part of our brain which thinks, oh my goodness, what happens if I make those changes and then that person leaves or doesn't want me to be with them anymore? And that can create a lot of fear. And because the current reality is something that you're used to and you're comfortable with on some level, may not be enjoyable, but you know it, so it creates a sense of certainty in your own mind. Because you know it, then any change, even if it's in the positive, is something that you don't quite understand and know what it looks like. And because you don't know what it looks like, and because there's no certainty there, we find ourselves self-sabotaging. That self-sabotage is what holds you back from making the changes that you need to. Now, there's a lot of talk about wanting to grow and work on yourself and become the best version of yourself in order to heal marriages. And whilst that's important, I also think it's a very vague statement to make. What does that actually mean? What does working on yourself mean? And I truly believe that it's more about peeling the layers of the onion so that we heal and overcome those wounds that we have in terms of fear, anxiety, stress, feeling like we're inadequate, and so on. And as we heal those deeper wounds, we bring the best version of ourselves to the marriage. And what happens is that life is like a mirror. Relationships are like a mirror. And what we put out is often what we get back. So if we're holding on to lots of fear and anxiety and so on, we're often going to get that back. And the other thing we have to remember is if we're not giving ourselves that TLC and that love and that care, how can we possibly expect other people to do the same for us? And so as we grow, as we become the best versions of ourselves, I've often found that the partner starts to create some shifts within themselves. Now here's the thing, if worst case scenario happens, and as you grow and you become the best version of yourself, then that person struggles to be able to manage that because he's been so controlling and manipulative over the years. You've got to remember that that is the best outcome for you, because you don't want to be in a marriage where you're being trampled all over and gaslighted and just treated really, really poorly for a long period of time. You are deserving of so much better. You deserve love, you deserve happiness and joy. You don't deserve to be trampled into the ground. So worst case scenario, and you grow and then he starts to slowly disconnect from you, that's actually a really positive thing for you. I know it's hard to hear, but you need to hear this. You need to recognize this, because there are too many people out there who are tolerating marriages that they shouldn't be right now. So you have to remember that if you're fearing that he might walk away as a result of your own changes, well then you're only holding yourself back from growing, and you're only going to continue to get the same experiences over and over and over. And you have to ask yourself, how much longer am I prepared to tolerate that person treating me like he is at this moment in time? I know I'm being a little bit direct about some of these points, but I really want to hammer this point home, because I want you to be happy. I want you to find joy. I want you to find true happiness. That is my mission, and I really want you to grasp this point. Now, just quickly, in the comments section below, I just want you to answer the question, what's the single biggest challenge that you face when it comes to wanting to work on your marriage? Just quickly go and write your answers below, and I'll respond to them individually as well. Now, the third mistake that I see so many people make is they dabble in their own growth. You see, we live in a world where we are inundated with so much information out there. There are blogs, there are YouTube videos, there's Facebook videos, there's Facebook groups, there's Reddit, there's like a million different platforms where you can get information. And everyone wants to be able to just jump on YouTube or jump on Facebook, etc., and just get that magic answer. They just want that magic pill. They want that one video that's going to somehow transform their life, especially in relationships. Lots of other areas of life, I think people acknowledge that, they need to hire an expert or whatever to be able to get the support that they need. But in relationships, everyone thinks they're an expert. And so the problem is because everyone thinks they're an expert, there are often lots of information and lots of advice that is just flat out wrong. I mean, I can't begin to tell you how much of the information I see online is just straight out rubbish. And we have to be very careful about what we take in. We have to be very careful about the message that we're actually soaking in from other people. And what that's led this society and led our culture to do is just to dabble at things. To watch the odd YouTube video, to read the odd blog and so on. But it doesn't shift. It doesn't create those changes. It's almost like thinking that people are likely to stay at home and really just do their gym workouts and so forth at the level of intensity that they need to in order to create the transformation. Yes, there's the odd person that actually will get those results, but very few people do. And the only time that they actually start making proper changes is when they actually start going to the gym, start investing in it, And also hiring a personal trainer or someone that's actually going to help you to be accountable and get the results that you want. You can't dabble in your growth, especially with something as important as your marriage. When we dabble, we don't get the results. When we actually commit and invest and do all of those good things, that's when we make a decision within ourselves to say, you know what? This is the most important thing in my life. Or this is something that I'm going to choose to make a priority in my life, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make this work. Make a decision. Am I going to put everything I can into this in order to grow and in order to develop? Am I truly committed to making this marriage get to the place that I want it to go? Am I truly committed to wanting to create this extraordinary family environment? Am I truly committed to becoming the very best version of my own self and to find true joy and happiness? And it's for this reason that I've created my Authentic Relationship System training program, because I truly want people to have an avenue, a platform, and an environment where they can actually receive the support on an ongoing basis forever, where they can get a level of transformation and growth and really get to the crux of not only issues within their marriage, but issues and challenges that they're having to deal with within themselves, and really to be able to create that rapid transformation inside. It's an amazing program. You'll absolutely love it. It's not for everyone. I don't take on every single person as a client. I need to make sure it's a good fit, that we connect, and that you sort of resonate with the messages that I've got, and also resonate with the tools and the techniques that I utilize and that I teach my clients in order to create that massive transformation within. There is nothing better and nothing greater than having an extraordinary marriage. Equally, there is nothing more painful than having a marriage that isn't where it needs to be, and that's on the verge of a divorce. And I truly want to be there to serve you and help you on this path. There have been some amazing women who have gone through this program and created remarkable shifts, whether that's women who've had to deal with infidelity, or having husbands who have had porn addictions, or husbands who have been just complete workaholics or have dealt with depression and so on. There have been people who have been able to create some amazing shifts in their marriage, but they were committed and they did whatever they could and they did whatever it took in order to make the changes. So I'd love to hop on a call with you just to see if this is the right fit. As I mentioned earlier, we'll learn where you are now, where you want to get to, and how we can bridge that gap in the shortest possible time. And if it's not a good fit, that's totally cool. If it is, we can work through all the details. If not, no dramas at all, and I'll make sure I give you a couple of tips so that you're able to move forward and progress on your journey. So all you need to do is just click on the link below in the description section where it says book a call with me. Just choose a time that works for you, and then fill out the short application form. I'll then contact you at that scheduled time, and then we can work through helping you move forward on this path and on this journey that you're on. I'm really looking forward to being of service to you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, make sure you hit the like button below. It really helps me to get this message across to more people and serve more people as well. So thank you so much for that. If you want to receive more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you want to learn the 5 stresses that will destroy any marriage, make sure you click this video above. And if you want to learn how to heal your emotions when your marriage is on the verge of a divorce, just click this video above. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you in the next video.